GM to YouTube. Kind of an unexpected video today. Jagex has come out and is polling Bronzeman Mode. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to make a video going over this when I read about this at first, but I've seen so much discussion about it all over like social media and on Reddit and that kind of thing. So I felt like I want to weigh in. I'm just gonna like go through their description of stuff first, and then we'll talk more about details later. They say, ever wanted to play an Iron Man, but don't think you can commit to the later game upkeep? Are you playing as an Iron, but just want to buy one troublesome resource to help your grind? Or maybe you've wanted to play like a main account while earning gear and resource unlocks yourself. Bronzeman is here with your solution to the above. The most popular option in our recent quarterly survey, the community-designed game mode gives the option of playing Iron Man Light, where you'll still have the restrictions of Iron Man mode, but once you've unlocked an item yourself legitimately, you'll be able to buy and sell that item exclusively through the Grand Exchange. I'm going to stop right there because I've read this already, and I know that this is not elaborated on. I think this needs way more detail in it. What counts as unlocking an item? So what they're saying is once you unlock an item on your Iron, you will be able to buy and sell it exclusively through the GE. So that's the only way that you can acquire that item is through the Grand Exchange. What counts as unlocking it? If I go kill one of the Mad Angel and she drops me a super combat, have I now permanently unlocked a super combat? Have I completely bypassed the Herbler requirement on super combats and I now can just purchase them? How about a Dragon Dart? If I catch a Dragon Impling and I get a Dragon Dart drop, can I just skip the fletching requirement entirely? Like I don't need fletching at all to ever make a Dragon Dart again? Does this completely bypass the skilling requirements or not? Because I think that would change people's opinion on the game mode and how they feel about it, because I feel like a big thing for a lot of people is not only getting drops from PVM yourself, but also getting the skilling requirements to do certain things yourself as well. Like, it seems like this would completely bypass that. Completely. Like once you have cheesed a drop from whatever source, like gotten a potion, gotten a piece of ammo somewhere, then you just permanently have that. It's a little bit strange. I feel like that needs a little bit more detail. They say, while playing, you'll be able to see all of your current unlocks through a handy interface, which will also show you the items you've acquired with a built-in search function that also shows your total amount of unlocks obtained. We're also hoping to include milestone ranks similar to the collection log, allowing you to show everyone on the high scores what kind of Bronzeman you've become. Earlier this year, these mods spent time during Game Jam 8 working on what an official implementation of Bronzeman mode might look like, and aside from a few additions, it's essentially ready to go. So what they're saying is like, in the back end, it's done. Like it's ready to deploy. I will say just off the bat that it's a little crazy to be asking about new game modes when character slots are still limited to one character per membership. At no point have they offered any option to have like multiple character slots for a different subscription model or anything like that. Definitely feels like flavor of the monthy, like cash grabby. At least to me, it feels like a little bit icky to be asking about all these new game modes that you will be paying membership for without offering a way to do that without paying a new membership if you want to experience it. Seems a little silly to me. Scrolling down, they talk about something called Unbound Bronzeman. So one of the most popular versions of Bronzeman we've seen involves PvP, allowing unlocks from the items you gain after felling your victims. We also explored making that a reality. Now we know this has to be separate from a more official version of the mode given the nature of how items can easily be transferred by defeating your friend, or even your own ult account perhaps, but we love the idea of an alternate version available for those who want to take on the challenge with the added layer of PvP. For this reason, Unbound Bronzeman would have a separate high scores along with a slightly different icon similar to GIM and unranked GIM. And they kind of give some descriptions of how this works. I really dislike this game mode. Like the Unbound variant of Bronzeman, I think is really goofy. I'm thinking of the times creators have done their series like with Bronzeman with this kind of thing where they're going to go get items with PvP, and it has always had some kind of issue. Some viewer pops into, someone gets a drop that is questionable, like one of the streamers, and it's like donation. Like they got donated the item. That was always the go-to. Even if it clearly, you know, was just someone like stupid that got killed, or if it, a lot of times it just really seemed like, you know, someone was literally donating them gear. The fact that was such a like through line with all of that content is like, it's not gonna be any different with an official game mode. This has no stakes to it whatsoever. You see this person with this helmet and you're like, okay, they are a main. They have absolutely nothing different to their account. They're just a main because they absolutely can get everything just off and all, just like they're saying, which is why they're mentioning it. It just doesn't add anything to the game because they're literally just a main. I think it's crazy that they're even considering giving these account types a high scores as if they have like any reason to to be separate from like a main high scores. They're literally just a main. They are the exact same as a main. Completely, utterly, 100% they're a main. The only way for this account type to have integrity, if you want to implement it like this, is to make it its own server. So you could make Unbound Bronzeman worlds. But the problem with that is, I mean, there's a ton of problems. That opens up swapping. So now you have to deal with like swappers, swapping GP. GP is going to be more valuable on these servers. Also, it probably just doesn't have the standing power to populate worlds. I don't feel like that many people are interested in this. I could be wrong, but I feel like not that many people are going to be playing this game mode. Feels like something creators would use for a bit, which could be fun for a bit, but I don't see this lasting long term. Like for years, in 3 years, is this going to be a game mode that people are actively playing? Unbound Bronzeman? Like I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Scrolling down, they talk about how you can downgrade. If this was added, you could potentially downgrade Ironman accounts to Bronzeman, and then you would be able to like acquire supplies. And then we go down and we can see the poll question, There are not poll questions. There is the poll question. Should we add the Bronzeman mode to Old School Runescape as described in the news post? This is a new game mode that will give you Ironman restrictions with the caveat of being able to buy and sell items through the Grand Exchange once an item has been obtained for the first time. There is not even a second question for Unbound Bronzeman. If you wanted Bronzeman but didn't want Unbound Bronzeman, too bad. This is your one poll question, which I think is absurd. Absolutely absurd. Beyond that, maybe there's certain aspects of this that you would like to see changed or not work that way. Skilling unlocks just give you access to that item could be a great poll question. Should finding a potion unlock super combats? Is that a thing you would want from Bronzeman? Yes or no? Should Bronzeman be able to raid together effectively? Like, should you be able to drop potions to Bronzeman that have already unlocked it and pick them up? Or is it literally just you have the full restrictions of an Ironman, stinks raiding because even though you can buy all the supplies you want, you still are restricted and you can't work together as a team? This needed way more than one poll question. I could see this easily have been 10 poll questions, and maybe even that wouldn't have been enough. Before we go over everything and get further into the video, I want to give a disclaimer ahead of time. On the survey, they asked about adding potential game modes. The one I wanted more than anything is hardcore main. Maybe we'll talk about that later in the video, exactly what I would want with a hardcore main, but I'm definitely like at least somewhat biased. I personally would not play Bronzeman. It is not a game mode I am interested in personally. That does not mean when I vote for content, that does not mean that I would just vote no for something that doesn't affect me in any way. An addition to the game that is a good addition to the game is something I would vote yes on. I want to explore if Bronzeman mode is a good addition to the game and is deserving of a yes vote. Keeping in mind that it has absolutely no dev cost whatsoever. So this is literally just push a button, this is in the game. Is the game better or not? Okay, what I have here is the this is the screen you see on Tutorial Island when you pick a game mode. I have all of the different game modes. I'm going to go over what the like appeal is and where Bronzeman would fit into this. So we have, main, completely unrestricted access to the game, complete freedom to play RuneScape the way it was intended. You have Ironman, you can't trade. So Ironmen get everything themselves, all of it 100% themselves. It allows you to play the game in a different way. Hardcore Ironman, exact same as regular Ironman, but if you die, you lose your status. So the appeal is like, this is a more challenging game mode. This is a more interesting game mode where if you die, you lose your status. So anyone who has this has not died, and that's interesting on the account. Like, what items do they have? The prestige, the allure, the skills, the items they have, like a lot of stuff is for showing off, that kind of thing. Ultimate Ironman, an Ironman, but you can't bank. Playing around the restrictions of only having 28 items on you at a time, finding creative ways to get around that, that's the appeal for it. Group Ironman. So playing an Ironman with your friends, with a shared bank, very clearly very different than the Ironman experience, right? Like it's a different way to play the game. Hardcore Group Ironman, but with the hardcore symbol on it. Like definitely different, like worthy of being its own game mode. Unranked game. Okay, this one's harder to make an argument for. I think this exists just so, like, if someone's friend drops out, they don't have to, like, cancel the whole Ironman. So it just, like, makes it work, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. There's not a ton of... I don't have a huge defense for Green Helms. Sorry, Green Helms. Then Bronzeman. So where does Bronzeman fit? What is the appeal for Bronzeman? Bronzeman is Ironman. You get everything yourself, but you have no supply upkeep. Okay. So basically, like, if you didn't like getting toxic scales, like, this lets you get around getting those from Zulrah. Getting one kill unlocks it for you. supplies, you're out of food, you're out of prayer potions, you don't have to prayer flick as much. This doesn't really solve anything for like the actual common problems that Ironmen run into, which is getting stuck on a stupidly long grind. That's the real reason everybody quits Ironman at some point. There's always been the talk of the CG grind, CG prison, red prison. You'll go try to get a BOFA and you'll get trapped there. And many, many, many Ironmen have quit at that point. Bronzeman does not get you around that. If you're going to CG on a Bronzeman, you are still going to sit there until you get enhanced weapon seed. What you could do at that point is you could buy your sail door. You still got to do the full BOFA grind. Like you're doing the whole thing. You could get around if you got spooned it and you didn't have all the armor seeds yet, you could buy the rest of your armor seeds. So maybe it would slightly shorten it in certain cases, but it's not actually skipping that grind. If you want a T-bow later in the account, good luck. Like it still is going to take you a long, long, long time to go get that. So what it does is gets around the problem that you really encounter when you're like an endgame iron, supply upkeep for doing speed runs, that kind of thing. But at endgame on a Bronzeman, you're basically just a main. Like you have everything unlocked and you're playing as a main. Like it has no difference. So what would be the difference in playing an endgame Bronzeman versus downgrading your Ironman to a main? Like at that point, so you can just buy things. Like they're the same. This puts me towards like a talking point where like the community has like a psychology problem going on with Ironman mode. Basically, when Ironman mode came out, it was the challenge game mode. This is going to be tough. You're going to have to get everything yourself. It is going to be slow. It is going to be a slog. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to go get that Dragon Warhammer yourself. Everything's going to be slow. And you're going to get to flex about it. Like, yeah, I got a Dragon Warhammer myself on my Ironman. Yeah, that's mine. That was like the point of the game mode. Over time, for some reason, I don't know exactly what caused it, but over time it has shifted from Ironman as a challenge mode to Ironman is the right way to play the game. I keep seeing this all the time. Like, oh, you're not really playing RuneScape if you're not playing an Ironman. Like, oh, you could just like go get GP. Like, you don't have to do anything. Like, you could just like only grind the best GP moneymaker in the game and do nothing. Main is the intended way to play the game. Main is the default, okay? Main has complete 100% freedom for you to do whatever you want. That means that you get to make the decision. If the decision you make when you're playing a main is to play it only 100% max efficient and get GP, and that sounds boring to you, play a different way. Don't do that. Don't! You don't have to. You don't have to just grind Doom all day because it's the best moneymaker on the wiki. When you look up best moneymaker OSRS and it pulls up on the wiki and the top thing is Doom, you don't have to go, well, I guess I gotta go do Doom. Like, that's the best thing. Like, that's what you do on a main. You do the best thing. Anybody who actively plays main knows that that's not true. Personally, for me, right? The things I love in the game are PVM, speedrunning, high-level stuff. Like, that's what I enjoy doing. Sometimes I'm low on GP for those. Like, sometimes I'm running low in supplies. And what you will not see me do is go slog away at Doom because that's the best place to get money. If I enjoyed doing it, I would go do that. But I don't. So you don't see me doing that. A lot of my money that I've earned over the lifetime of my account, I have a lot of GP, right? The cash I earned throughout the lifetime of the account, a lot was from pet hunting. I just wanted to go get pets. I enjoyed getting pets. That's a thing I like doing. I might consider like, okay, I want to go get this pet. How much is it total per kill? And then be like, oh, I get this much money from the grind. And be like, okay, yeah, sweet. I'll go get this much money and I can go get this pet at the same time. Awesome. You can do that with everything. Oh, I get this much Slayer XP from killing this Slayer boss. That'll be worth it to me. Let me go do it. You don't have to do everything at the top efficiency level on a main. It is not the wrong way to play the game. It's such a crazy take for me when it's the default. On a main, all progress you make is liquid, right? Everything is malleable. Anything that you are doing is progress towards everything else, if you want it to be. If you don't want to go lock yourself in Red Prison and you enjoy doing Vorkath, doing Vorkath is progress towards the BOFA. If that's what you want it to be, that's what it is. You have complete freedom to do anything that you want. Certain things have higher value than other things, right? The economy has dictated that Avernic treads are super, super good. So doing Doom is really good money and it's going to get you those things faster. But you don't have to do the fastest thing. You can do anything in the game and it's progress towards something else. That's what's so great about playing a main, is that if there is something you don't like doing, you don't have to do it. It solves all of the issues that you run into with Iron Man. So the only reason to play an Iron Man is if those issues don't matter to you. Like, I still want to be restricted regardless of those issues. I keep seeing people who are like, I barely have time to play in my Iron Man. Why can't this work this way or this work this way? It's like, why are you playing an Iron Man if you can't play under the restrictions of Iron Man? If that is causing you an issue, just play a main. I don't get why this is such a like holdup for everybody. It was a big thing when the WoW refugees were coming over from the streams. Like, it was like a huge thing of like, you have to make an Iron Man or you're not playing RuneScape the right way. And that's like absolute bullshit. It's just bullshit. That is not true. It is valid to play an Iron Man. It is valid to play a main, but you should play the way that makes you have the most fun. Like, whichever way you enjoy the most should be the way that you're playing. You do not need to change everything to suit you instead. You'll see people say this as a joke, like, kind of, where it's like, you know, people will come in my chat. They'll be like, Gnomonkey, how do you get through the CG grind? Like, I'm really burning out. I'm not enjoying it. Like, how do you deal with that? And like, as a joke, I'll say de-iron. De-iron. But it's only kind of a joke. If you are not enjoying the Iron Man game mode, you can de-iron and you can play a main, completely unrestricted, complete freedom, freedom to play the game however you please. There's this weird stigma about all of these different game modes that like, you're playing it this wrong, you're doing this wrong, or, oh, I'm an Iron Man, I got everything myself, by the way, I'm so cool, I'm holier than thou. It's just like all of there is this weird like toxicity throughout like the player base, this weird elitism of like different game modes being worth different amounts, like based on like your progress on different things. At the end of the day, none of it matters. It's just all just pixels. What matters is, did you enjoy playing the game that way? Did you enjoy playing RuneScape? If you aren't enjoying it, do something else. There's a really good example of this with the streamer Sardako. He's a WoW refugee, so if you don't know, he's come from WoW, and he's been going for achievements in Old School. At one point, he was trying to be the first to go get Inferno. So he's on an Iron Man, trying to get to Inferno, he's got his Bofa, and he's running into issues with supplies, running up into issues with blood runes, potions, but also just like general gear is like lacking. Like a lot of items are missing. And at one point, Sardako went to make a main, and his chat just like unloaded on him. Like, you're just taking handouts, you're playing the game wrong, like this is not, just like a huge wave of toxicity in his chat. Like, you're not playing the game the way we want you to. And I see this outside of like personalities, outside of streamers. Like, someone asked me like, hey, I'm thinking about de-ironing, like, and people be like, no, you're gonna regret it. Like, you have so many hours into it, it's not worth it. Like, it's not gonna be worth it. Playing a main is just GPscape, all the common things come up. It's like, if people are more willing to just let people play the game the way that they want to and not force the way that they play the game onto everybody else, I think less people would quit the game. More people would continue playing. I feel like a lot of people have felt strong-armed into continuing Iron Man until the point that they burnt out and they quit. You genuinely can just de-iron if you're not enjoying the game mode and play the game as a main. You very well may enjoy the game more at that point. There's nothing wrong with that. And there shouldn't be like stigma from the people around you for that. It's very strange. I want to really quickly show, we looked at this before, but this is the screen for picking an Iron Man. I know that this menu is atrocious and it needs to be reworked. I think the new player experience with all of the different game modes is really rough. And I've seen people say that Bronzeman will ruin the new player experience. It's not even Bronzeman. It's like the text describing these game modes does not tell you what is going on to the fullest. What needs to be here is that under none, this should say like a main, and it should tell you it's the intended way to play the game. So many people will tell you that Iron Man is the intended way to play the game, and it's just not. It's just not. So you can be tricked as a new player into playing the challenge game mode that is harder, slower, and you'll bump up against grinds that take forever. And maybe you don't want to play that way. But you don't know that, right? You don't know that. You're a new player. You don't have all the context that we have. This kind of thing needs to be spelled out. I wanted to show the text that the Iron Man tutor has. It has some greetings here. When you ask, tell me about Iron Man, it'll say, when you play as an Iron Man, you do everything for yourself. You don't trade with other players or take their items or accept their help. You have these restrictions imposed on you so everyone knows you're doing it properly. If you think you have what it takes, you can choose to become a hardcore. Hardcore works this way. Hardcore works this way. You could make a group Iron Man that works this way. You can work with and then a hardcore group Iron Man, and then an unranked group Iron Man works this way, and then an ultimate Iron Man, no bank, and then at the very end, after like space barring whatever this is, like 15 different like text prompts, the Iron Man tutor says, "I must warn you that Iron Man mode is not recommended for new players. You can still give it a go if you think you're up for the challenge, though." That's gotta be at the front, and probably when this text box was initially added with just Iron Man, it's probably fine, because it would have been, as an Iron, you have these restrictions imposed on you so everyone knows you're doing it properly. I must warn you that Iron Man mode is not recommended. But after you add a whole sandwich of lettuce, onions, tomatoes before you get to the mustard at the bottom, like, that needs to be at the top. It needs to be spelled out that Iron Man is tough. Like, Iron Man is restricted. It is a harder way to play the game. It is not the intended way to play the game. Also, the verbiage on the second line is weird. As an Iron Man, you choose to have these restrictions imposed on you so everyone knows you're doing it properly. Like, what they're trying to say is that other people will know that you actually have the items restricted, because originally Iron Man was fake. Like, you just put a plugin on and, you know, there was no Iron Man game mode. So they said this with the context of that at the time, but telling people in the second line that you're doing it properly is just like, that's definitely misleading. My takeaway from this as a new player is, oh, Iron Man is the proper game mode. Like, I feel like this whole thing needs to be reworked. A lot of new players get pushed towards Iron Man by the community, and then they drown. They drown after X amount of time. You get to some grind that you brush up against that's way too grindy, way too long for your taste, and then you end up quitting the game. So my question is, does Bronzeman fix that? Is it the solve? Is it like, oh, instead of de-ironing, you could downgrade to a Bronzeman? Does that save you? No, it doesn't. You still have to do all of the grinds. It doesn't help you. The point of Bronzeman is to alleviate the supply upkeep, but you're still playing an Iron Man. It's still the same. Okay, so my question then is, what if they made a Bronzish Man mode, okay? You add the ability to buy up to 5 items per account. You can buy 5 items. You could skip 5 grinds on your account completely. That would solve it for a lot of people. I think people would play that still. How many steps do we need to take from Iron Man to a main before it's like good enough for everybody? Or could we just have a clear distinction between the challenge game mode where you get things yourself and playing a main where you have complete freedom? Does this actually do anything for the game? Does this actually help? I personally don't see it. Basically what it breaks down to is that this feels very gimmicky. It's just like a slightly different Iron Man mode. We don't need 100 different variants of Iron Man that work for every single person. Like, it just doesn't need to exist. We could have a different Iron Man for every single, like, region. Like, we could have a Mauritania-locked Iron Man that gets its own high scores. Now you have to scroll through, like, 80 pages of high scores to see every single, like, region of every single Iron Man. Like, it's just bloat. It's just adding so much crap that you have to get around for so little benefit. I think it works a whole lot better for this kind of thing to just, that's kind of gimmicky, it's kind of in between Iron Man and main, to play a main and restrict yourself. Restrict yourself using a plugin. Bronzeman has a really, really good plugin that prevents you from doing things. If you want to play card core, like you want to only unlock items that you get through cards that you've unlocked, restrict yourself on a main. Do it through plugins. Like, we have great plugins that do this kind of thing that don't have to bloat up like the high scores, different Iron Man badge for all of these. Like, not everything is worthy of an entirely new official game mode. The reason I wanted hardcore main really badly is because you wouldn't be able to do it with a plugin. You can accomplish playing a regular hardcore main by giving yourself a fake hardcore badge, and then if you die, you don't play the account anymore, but you buy items. So you can simulate hardcore main, but that's not really what I want. What I would love to see done is a hardcore server, like the same way WoW has, where it's a completely different world and an entirely different economy. Kind of the same way Deadman has, where it's its own, like, Grand Exchange. You log into these servers, you start fresh, you get everything yourself, you sell items. Items value is directly tied to how dangerous they are to get. So things like a Void Waker that's out in the wilderness where you could get killed. So really, really valuable. If you end up dying in these worlds, resets you back to Lumbridge, stats are 0, quests done are all gone, all your diaries are gone. What I would do is the only thing that you keep is the stuff in your bank. So a lot of people, whenever this gets brought up, is like, what do you do about mules? The solve is just make it so that everybody is a mule by default. Anything you have in your bank, you're just going to keep. All right, so you don't need to go look to funnel your stuff off to an alt anytime you do stuff. If you die, you get to keep the stuff in your bank, but you're going to get reset to the beginning. So that solves that. There are a lot of other problems with hardcore main servers that I think I'd be curious to see how they work out. Obviously, bots would be a big problem. GP on the server would be worth a lot more, and there would be swapping, and there's really no way to stop swapping. Bots would be going for GP on these servers. How do you deal with that? A lot of issues with bad actors, bots. I would love to see Jagex test this out as a temporary thing where it's heavily boosted drop rates and XP, and maybe try it for a couple months, 3 months. Try it, see if there's a ton of draw to it. If it's not gonna be super popular, it's not gonna work, right? So it's worth, I think it's worth seeing if a bunch of people jump on this and are super interested in it, if they're gonna try it. That's why I wanna see that added, because it's something you cannot accomplish with plugins. You literally cannot do that. Versus all of these different variants of Iron Man, you can just restrict a main and play in whatever minor restriction you want. You really can. One of the only arguments I've seen in support of Bronzeman is basically just why not, right? Doesn't take dev time. Why shouldn't they add it? I think RS3 went down a very similar path with a lot of their updates where they said why not, added an update because they don't have a polling system. Things get added that no one interacts with, and then the corpse of that piece of content will just be left. There was a point where there were tons and tons of mini games outside of Falador that no one ever touched. So it was just all this weird stuff outside of Falador, really detracting from the new player experience. You're walking around and you're what is all this crap? Recently, they've had to go back and clean up a bunch of the early areas because there's so much stuff that people don't use. They've had to go back and clean up a bunch of the early areas because people were getting confused and quitting. Just adding stuff to add stuff is not a good reason to add it. Regardless of how I feel about it, right? How I would vote on it. I think it's absolutely crazy that Jagex has boiled this down to a single poll question. I think a lot of people feel like they would vote yes to regular Bronzeman and they would vote no to Unbound Bronzeman. Even if I would vote no to both of them, it's crazy to poll something this way. There should be a lot more granularity in poll questions in general. You should be polling different aspects of different pieces of content because a lot of people would vote yes to something if it worked slightly differently than the way that they're showing. When you package the entire thing into one question, it's well, it's guaranteed to fail now. Very bad way of polling things. Overall, after seeing this, when it comes to me, answering this poll, I'm gonna vote no to it, especially with Unbound stapled on. Unbound is just really goofy. But even if this was separated right now, I think I would vote no to both. If Bronzeman was better fleshed out, with a little bit more description of how exactly it works, how you unlock items, and maybe what the interface looks like, some kind of mock-up idea, I might be able to get on board with it, but right now I just really don't see the appeal or what this is really adding to the game personally. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, because I am not 100% on either side of this. If you were someone who is going to play Bronzeman, I'd love to hear why. What exactly was appealing to you about the game mode and why did you want to play it? Or if you are in agreement with me, don't think it needs to be added and have some details, I'd love to hear more. That's it for the video, but before you go, I wanted to quickly talk about Golden Gnomes because we're in the running for 4 different categories for Golden Gnome. We're up for Best Old School Runescape Streamers. If you're ever popping in the streams, you'll know that I'm constantly feeding into the chat, trying to answer questions, be helpful to people. We joke around a lot, but I'm always trying to help people get done with content. And anytime someone has a question about anything, I'm always answering it. I am also nominated for Best New Old School Runescape Video Guide. This is a tough category because I got 2 nominations. I'm not sure exactly why they took 2 slots, but I make very solid guides. The new Corrupted Gauntlet guide got nominated, and also the Golden Trio Inferno guide got nominated. I'm asking if you vote on this to please just vote for the Inferno guide. Don't split the vote on this. This is just the better guide in general. I spent so much time making that second Zuck footage just to show the difference between a regular Zuck and one that goes more slowly. A ton of effort went into that one. I'm in the running for Game of the Year. Let it be known. I mean, first of all, the Deadman. A lot of people know about the Deadman Inferno clutch. My team is behind. We get through. I'm racing to get a Corrupted Voidwaker by completing the Inferno before everybody else. I just barely clear it by the skin of my teeth. It was an insane moment if you missed it. But also, I've done tons of other things this year. I did a 5 mil budget Tob with no untradables. I don't think anyone has ever done it with less gear than that, so that was crazy. I was the first person to complete Delve 8. I came second in Gilnor games, which is pretty solid. I did my own Pillarless Coliseum, and I also devised with Saxor Pillar the method for getting Oathplate contracts completed consistently. So tons and tons of things done this year. It was a very busy year. Maybe no one of those things I listed is greater than a no prayer Coliseum, but I think add it all together, it is enough to earn the title of Gamer of the Year. I would appreciate your vote on that. I would. The last category is Best Old School Runescape Video Creator. I'm gonna be honest, I don't deserve this over Settled. Settled's editing is insane. He's put out some crazy good content, especially the finale for his Nightmare Mode run was one of the best videos I've ever watched in RuneScape in general. If I win this, I'll be a little confused more than anything, but... Regardless, at RuneFest, I'll be wearing a golden suit. So if we win a golden gnome, I'll be going up on stage and accepting my gnome in that. If I don't, that's fine because I'll just be the golden gnome. That will be fine. We've also just had a ton of support this year. We recently got the Purple Heart Twitch Award, which is for 5 million hours of streams watched. Absolutely crazy. And I've just had a ton of support on everything. Subs have been crazy. Follows have been crazy. Everything's been crazy. I will be okay if we don't win any of these categories, but I'm gonna try my hardest. Anyways. If you voted for me, I appreciate you. If you didn't, I still appreciate you watching this video. Leave a like if you liked it, and or subscribe